Governor of Mizoram, Hari Babu sir, Madam, who has very kindly accepted to do darshan with sir, and it's the Hindu tradition that if you go to any dharmik sthal, you have to go with your wife, sir, and I'm so very happy that you are doing darshan to Naimesh, to Ayodhya, to Kashi with wife, and that is the way one should go around for the darshan, sir. So, Madam, we are very thankful for you to be part of this. Mukesh Meshram sir, Vishwamon Mishra ji, VC sir, Saurabh, all the eminent members here for today's discussion. I would like to welcome Honorable Sir. He belongs to what is called as Andhra Pradesh now, and I have been to Visakhapatnam for a big program on disability, where I had the opportunity to be with Sir when Thawarchand Gehlot Sahab was the Minister for Government of India, and we did a huge disability camp at Visakhapatnam, and it was under his guidance that we could do that program. And so I would love to welcome Sir once again in our state on behalf of our Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath ji. I would like to welcome Sir to Lucknow and to the state. I have been asked to speak about temple economics and dharmic development, sir. When in 2017 Yogi ji came in as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, I had the good fortune of being the Tourism and Dharmat Secretary, the Religious Affairs Secretary. And the very first time when we started discussing with him the entire scenario for the state, and you all know, and everyone, the entire world knows, that he is part of a trust, he is part of a PEAT, he is the head of a PEAT, and he is also the head of the entire PEAT for the entire country. So he, having seen all of it and having got trained under his guru, the very first thing he told us when we took up as Secretary Tourism and Secretary Dharmat, that you are not even achieving 0.1% of the potential of our religious places in Uttar Pradesh. We have Ram with us, we have Kashi Baba Bholenath with us, we have Mathura and Vrindavan, we have Krishna with us, we have Lord Buddha at Sarnath and Kushinagar, he is with us. All these, any number of persons have come from Uttar Pradesh, the saints, Tulsi ji, he wrote the Ramayana here, Chitrakoot and all those areas are there. So the entire state is dotted with history, with scriptures, and of all the places, Naimisharanya, which is the fountainhead of knowledge for the entire country, because it is said that the Upanishads and the Purans were written here. So it is there with us. So he, very first time when he started discussing things with us, he said that, well, we have not even achieved 0.1 of the potential for tourism and religious tourism and for Shraddhalus in the state. And it is then that this journey of the entire state started, sir. I would not take much time, but I would like to just give you 5 or 6 examples of how he thought, what was his vision. And we had the good fortune of the Prime Minister representing the state from Kashi, and I've been a collector of Varanasi also, I've been collector in Faizabad also. So it was this entire, I would say it was the God's gift to us that the Prime Minister representing Kashi, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh as Yogi ji, that the entire state saw a complete renaissance in the history of the nation. And it is in this background I will give what Mr. Mishra has just said. Sir, when the first time we went to Kashi, I have been a collector there in 99. It was a very small temple, and they were all गली सब जो है वहाँ पर जाने का रास्ता भी नहीं था. बड़ी मुश्किल से, it was so very difficult that families could go together. Women were made to go on a separate line, men were supposed to go on a separate line, and it was total chaos at the temple. And on Shivratri, where we were all present, we had to be on horseback to see that, well, the crowds were properly managed and there was no problem. It is then that in 2017, Sir was of the view that we should do something about Kashi, and the Prime Minister then took the lead. He said that my mother had a vision that we should have Kashi Dham such that the Gangaji and Baba are all together, and he gave us the broad vision of how to take it forward. He then initiated the process of taking forward this entire project. We then started this work. Yogi ji made at least 20 visits to Kashi to make people understand, the public understand. There were any number of religious leaders who were made to understand, and it was then with the cooperative effort of everyone there that the entire process started. The very first thing that was required to be done was to acquire the houses, built houses. They were centuries old houses which had to be acquired. And I recall the very first time when we started talking to people, they did not imagine that something could happen. And the very first time we started acquiring the houses, it took us a lot of effort to get the first 10, 15 houses acquired. We have a state policy where 2 times the value of the land and the value of the building is paid directly to the person owners of the house. There were any number of issues because there were tenants there, there were illegal tenants there, all sorts of things were there. But all of it happened. The Honorable Prime Minister's vision, his directions, his efforts, his view of how the project should look like. We got a very good architect. We got somebody to do the work for us. And I can say that Kashi, he gave you an input that Kashi Dham, the trust has got 85 crores in 1 year. I would look at it in a very broad fashion. We spent about 300 plus crores for acquiring the land. And we must have spent about 500 crores, 450 to 500 crores on the project itself. So the total expenditure at Kashi for the Kashi Dham project was about 800 crores. And as Mishra ji has said, on 13 December of 2021, the inauguration was done. The earlier, when the Shilanyas was done, we were there. When the inauguration was done, all the saints of the entire country were invited. A beautiful program was held. And from 13 December 2021 till 13 December 2023, in 2 years, the total people who had visited Kashi was how much? 13 crores. So what I say is that, sir, that if, and this is the temple economics I'm talking about, if 13 crore people could visit Kashi in 2 years, each person would have spent at least 2,000 rupees for coming, staying, going around and all of that. So 13 crores into 2,000, if you multiply, that becomes 26,000 crores. So that is the value which has come to Kashi and Varanasi. And sir, if you are a common man, I can say this, and this is a matter of record. It is difficult to get a hotel room in Kashi unless you have booked in advance. And at the last moment, on one of the occasions which is called Dev Deepavali, where everything is absolutely booked, it is on that day, the entire Gangaji along the river on both the sides now, diyas are lighted, and Dev Deepavali is one occasion where I would say, and I would request ma'am also, that you should see Kashi at Dev Deepavali. There is nothing like Dev Deepavali ever that you will see in your entire life. And this I can say for sure. Honorable Prime Minister has been there for Dev Deepavali. The Chief Minister, almost every other Dev Deepavali has been there. It's a beautiful site. So this is what I would say is the temple economics for Kashi. I would now start with Ayodhya. I can go on and on, but I'll just take 3 examples now. In Ayodhya, in 2017, about 15 to 20 days before the Diwali, we were coming back from Gorakhpur in the flight, and the earlier governor Ram Naik Saab was there, and both Chief Minister and Ram Naik ji was there. I was also there. And Honorable Chief Minister asked that what happens at Diwali at Ayodhya. And since I had been posted there earlier, I said nothing, it's all dark. And people at Ayodhya always are of the view that let not anything happen so that there is no confusion and let things be as they are. And it is then that Yogi ji said that Ram ki Ayodhya mein Diwali na ho और पूरे देश में दिवाली राम की वजह से हम मनाते हैं तो ऐसा नहीं होगा. And it was then that the very first time he said that maybe on Diwali we will not have a function, but the tourism department and the culture department would hold a function one day before Diwali or Choti Diwali. And it is then that we started a 2-3 day program at Diwali. It is called Deepotsav. The very first time we had the diyas, we had to buy the diyas. There were not enough kumhars who could give us the diyas. And the very first time we made a record of diyas, Mukesh has now been achieving world records in lighting of lamps here at Ayodhya. And in 2023, Honorable Prime Minister was there, and the entire country could see the Prime Minister at Ayodhya. Of course, now that the temple has come, again, I would say that he is saying the number for Kashi is about 2 to 5 lakhs. Ayodhya itself has a number of 2 to 5 lakhs. And I can say, sir, that we are going to beat Tirupati now. And it is in your area, because these are the 3 places now which are the center of attention for the entire country. And we have probably already beaten Mecca and Vatican, because these are the 2 religious cities of the world. So Ayodhya, Kashi, Tirupati, all of these are now becoming most important. So once Ayodhya started, sir, today Ayodhya did not have the wherewithal to see such large number of people. Kashi already was a very big city. Prayag with Kumbh has already been very big. But Ayodhya now is seeing a fantastic development. And there's only one thing I'd like to point out, sir, that at Ayodhya, I couldn't have imagined as an administrative officer that we would have an international airport at Ayodhya. And for the first time, the Honorable Prime Minister, when he started the flight at Ayodhya, this is something which will go down in history as one of the biggest achievements of Ayodhya, that an international airport at Ayodhya has started. And it is here that now more than 8 to 10 flights all over the country are going every day, and international flights will also start. I was discussing with the head of Tata's, Chandrasekharan Saab, who's the head of the Tata organization. They are planning to take Air India from some of these East Asian countries, some of the other countries of the world, direct flight of Air India to Ayodhya, and then at Ayodhya have Taj hotels there, and then make darshan possible for the entire world. So this is the second aspect of what I would like to tell you, sir. And the third aspect is Kumbh. Kumbh was the first opportunity where the government of Uttar Pradesh did a job which was never possible. More than 25 crore people came, sir. And since we were part of that entire arrangement just before Kumbh, we thought, how could that be possible? Because of the directions of the Honorable Chief Minister, the Prime Minister himself made 2 visits to Kumbh. It was then that we had Swachh Div and Sundar Kumbh. And this is the largest congregation of people in the world. Nobody comes on invitation. Everyone comes due to their religious beliefs. So Kumbh is what happened at 25 crores. And I would once again, I continue to request you, sir, that the next Kumbh is in 2025, January. Ma'am, and you and your entire family and all children should be there at Kumbh to see. There are 3 things which happened at Kumbh. One, the Swachhata at Kumbh. For the first time, modern technology was used for toilets, for all the cleaning, and biodegradable toilets were used. That was one. Second, perfect arrangement for law and order. Not a single lathi of any police wala was raised. You have been in politics, sir, and you would know that in such a large congregation, kahin na kahin to kami ho jati hai. But the UP police was so well trained, not a single incident happened which was untoward. And 3, world over, the foreign tourists came to Kumbh. They have always been attracted to Kumbh, and I was part of that entire exercise. I could meet an Australian traveler, a 55-year-old person. He said he has been for the last 5 Kumbhs, and every Kumbh he comes from Australia, but this was the best Kumbh possible. So again, if you take 25 crore people and take the value of money which would come to us, that is a fantastic job which we have done. So we are all a part of the team of Yogi Ji, part of team of the Honorable Prime Minister to take the country to $5 trillion. We want our state to become a $1 trillion economy. It can only and only be possible if tourism, culture, our dharmic areas, all these develop, because this is what has led to other countries to go forward, sir. Small countries like Turkey, small countries like Cyprus, small countries in Europe, Italy have done well. I'm told in Venice now they are not allowing tourists to go inside because of these space constraints. So we in Uttar Pradesh have a lot of potential. If we do good work, and the next Saurabh has just very recently uh, coordinated, and Mukesh and Mishra ji have very recently done a conference on Nemish. Now that is another, if you have been to Nemish, it's a very small place, just one kund there, few temples there. If that develops as a grand area, a lot of people from South India would come, and South Indians all consider it to be their God. It is their requirement that they have to go to Nemish. So this is another potential that we can develop. Very soon, as it has been said, Vrindavan and Mathura will also see a lot of changes. Very soon, we will see at Mirzapur, which is Vindhyachal, Vindhyavasini Devi, that place will also develop. All across the state, projects are developing. Mukesh has started the program under the Chief Minister, where every MLA is getting money now for tourism. Now, this is something which is going to be taken up. So, just like one district, one product, we will have one district, one tourism spot. And this is how we want.